Oh yeehaw! Welcome. Today we've got Jalan back on the potty, which is very exciting in my opinion because Jill was one of my first guests and
I was the first guest, wasn't I?
nah,
No.
Ree was.
Oh yeah, Ree was guest number
Yeah.
one.
And yeah, I feel like much has changed since I first got you on. So
The production quality now is top tier, and you've got a sponsor, of course.
yes, speaking of, today we're drinking a whole lot of love by Fallenleaf. If you would like a discount, apply Fallenleaf at the checkout and you'll get a little bit off. So today we're just going to be talking a little bit about business and personal branding and things like that. So, well, I feel like you are achieving a nice sound balance in your Insta between personal sharing, branding, and sharing what you create and things like that. Has it taken you a little while to get to that?
It's taken me since I first. It's taken me since I first started it to get to what I could say is a healthy balance with Instagram between what I really want to be posting, the things that I share for clients, the things that I share for myself, and then to find the happy medium between everything. But mostly to get to a space where I am content with what I'm sharing. More than content, I'm stoked with what I'm sharing, and I'm no longer as married to how it's going to perform
That's great.
on Instagram,
That's sick.
which is probably the most liberating place to be for me,
100.
you know.
Yeah, I think sometimes people do forget that we're following you for you, not just for what you're creating. So I think it's an important one to speak to that when branding for yourself, just for
People
everyone.
people forget it and then we forget it.
We forget it
I
too.
probably forget it
Yeah,
the most of anyone. I'm sharing
I forget it more.
this. Yeah, I forget even more than you do. I think that finding the balance between the work that you're sharing and people knowing that there's an actual human being, that there's a person behind the work, I think it's a big part of it, because when people do hire you, they're not just hiring like a body that's attached to a camera. They're hiring a personality, someone that's going to hopefully mesh well with their team, someone that's going to have a vision that complements, whether that's their project or their brand or anything like that. And I think that so many people sell themselves short by just going, I'm not very interesting, I'm just going to put a bunch of like shots up and then put media and photography at the end of it. And then they wonder why people can't tell them apart
Yeah.
in a sea of hundreds and thousands of different creatives. Sometimes you have to push yourself and take that leap to go, well, I have something to offer, I have something that's different, because I am me. I mean, it sounds cliche, but I am me. I offer things that are different. Why would I hide such a large part of myself?
For sure. I wanted to speak to a bit of a movement that I've been seeing, which is the I don't really care movement. Intuition kind of tells me that there are people that care a little bit more.
The movement of pretending not to care, they've always been a part of the human entity.
Yeah.
You know, the human conditions. In many ways, we've come to this place now where, and I think this speaks to what you were saying, is it's not cool to be passionate about something. It's not cool to reveal too much about yourself. It's not cool to try. It's not cool to try really hard. And we get to this weird sort of space where everyone's trying their hardest to be more mysterious and they don't want to show anything of themselves. But that comes from a largely misplaced ego. To show more of yourself or to be passionate about something, especially online, not saying that everyone has to be that way,
No.
but if you want to be, it's scary.
Yeah,
A
it
large
is
part of
scary.
it is scary. It's a lot easier to not share anything, to not put yourself out there, to not go, hey, I really like this, or hey, I really love this, or here's my opinion on this. It's much easier to, put one fucking word in your caption and then judge people who throw themselves out there a bit more. There's nothing wrong with if you want to be that person. There's actually people who do it very well, but they did it very well because they did it. It's who they are.
Yeah.
And so many
Yeah.
of those top dog creators who maybe pioneered that movement of
Yeah.
mystery and not sharing that much, but having the beautiful work to kind of back it, is that it suits them. Why is everyone then trying to join this counterculture movement where by being anti-culture or being different, they're all actually ending up being exactly the same?
Yeah, it's interesting.
You know?
Part, eh?
And then they judge other people for trying to do something or trying hard at something. I mean, I don't resent it, but I start to understand it more as I understand myself and
For
people.
sure, yeah, because we all have to kind of experience a little bit of that too.
We all get it. I sit there and I go, oh man, I'm not, should I post this? Should I share this? And I think that there's a healthy amount of that for everyone.
Yeah.
Everyone feels that. Should I share this thing?
Even Flynn Skidmore asked his girlfriend if he should share shit.
And
that surprised the fuck out of me.
Yeah,
I was
because
like,
Flynn Skidmore,
is the king.
shout out to the top dog,
Fucking hell.
Really does not give off that air. But it's not even a bad air. It's the air of being human. We all want things to do well. Anyone who's saying, I don't give a fuck about my Instagram, I don't care. You know, there's a few people like that, 100%. But most people are happy if a post does well. The thing is not marrying your self-worth to how well the post performs, which I just think is something that we all struggle with to some degree, but that we start to accept and have a framework in place to maneuver through.
Yeah, could we touch a little bit on that framework? I had a little bit of a question about what you've done to kind of detach, or what you'd advise for somebody to do if they were thinking a little bit too deeply into what they were posting.
And what you start to realize with time is that, I mean, no one really gives a fuck what you're doing. They don't care that much.
I like that one. I think about that often.
Yeah, people, of course, I mean, when they see something cool, but people don't care enough to be like, oh, what the hell? This person hasn't posted in a month.
Yeah,
you know, the amount of times where I've seen someone go, yeah, I know I've been a bit inactive lately. It's been 3 weeks, or it's been a few months or whatever. I didn't notice, and I don't think many other people notice unless they're checking your gram every single day. And it's not to write them off, but I've thought that before. I've been like, oh, I haven't posted in a month. People are gonna be like, what? But people don't give a shit. People don't give a fuck what you're doing. What you need to do is you need to go, okay, do I like this? Do I enjoy this? Or does it speak to something? Or does it maybe help people?
Yeah.
Or does it help the brand? Or is it something that I simply just like?
Yeah.
Get it out there, post it, detach from it, and move past it. And the biggest thing that I've started to learn is that every single post shouldn't be looked at as an individual performing goal.
Yeah.
It should be looked at as building the entire, or supporting the entire personality or brand or type of work that you're sharing. Each thing adds to it. So we both know, or a lot of people know to some degree, what's going to do well when we post. Actually, that's a bit of a lie, because sometimes you share something and you're like, oh, I've put a lot of time and effort into this and it just bombs, and then other times you don't give a shit about something, you post it and it pops off. But generally speaking, you know, if you post a picture of a hot chick and things like that, it's going to do better than if you post a picture of a landscape or, you know, your mate's dad, right?
So fair.
But that thing that you really enjoyed, the photo of your mate's dad with the cigarette in his mouth or hanging out playing poker with his mates or whatever, is going to support your message as a whole and what you want to share.
Yeah.
So even if it doesn't do as well, it's supporting the story. It's
For
the
sure.
story.
No, I back it. I feel like you've been the biggest one for me with that. Just motivating that.
It's funny because you motivate me the most.
Hey. Thank you. I see lots of people burning out and chalking it and saying that the industry is too saturated. I think there's always room to reinvent and create things that aren't stockos. Could I have your thoughts on this?
The thing is, every single time you jump in and take a different route, there's going to be a bunch of people that are going to tell you it's not possible, it's oversaturated, don't try, blah, 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 blah.
It's funny, I've never had any of that.
That's funny because I think you don't have enough apprehension with things. I think you just jump in and do.
Yeah.
And I also think that I come from not that I'm from a completely different generation, but 10 years ago there was a lot more of that. Now creativity and the creative entrepreneurial lifestyle is a lot more accepted. And I'm not even old school. I've been in it for 7-8 years.
Yeah.
But I still remember there was older dudes that did not want me to succeed.
Yeah, even in the
And
family
they
as
fed,
well.
and people in the family, you know, and they didn't understand it. They didn't understand it. The the industry being oversaturated is still bullshit. It will always be bullshit because yes, there's a lot of people doing it, but no one can do it the way that you would do it. It sounds cliche again, but it's true. Now, the burnout is the tester. Yeah, it's easy for a couple of years to do it, but the ones who are going to last are the people who push past that three year type limit.
Yeah.
You know, every few years 3-4 years will go by and you'll come to a crossroads. And if you keep going, then that's where the magic starts to happen.
100.
But there's a million talented people out there who are going to get outworked by someone who's nowhere near as good as what they are.
Yeah.
So they might not have the talent, but they're going to show up every single day and do it.
That's it. That's what it's all about
And
as well.
yeah, and it might not be every single day, but they're going to actively work at it. And those people who outwork everyone are the ones that are going to succeed. Now, if you can have a combination of talent and hard work, that's where beautiful things can happen. But yeah, the persistence will win out over talent most every single time in those initial stages. I mean, after that, if you're trying to get to, but I'm just talking about you're trying to become full-time in the industry, hard work, doing it, and doing it in a different way.
Yeah.
So many people get caught up I got caught up in that, trying to do it how everyone else is doing it.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's a big loss, man. You waste a lot of time doing that. I wasted years. I wish that I had spent there was years that I spent creating stuff that I thought would do well rather than diving into what could really get me going, because I was like, this will do well.
Yeah.
And everyone has to lose themselves a little bit.
We're not creating for likes.
Is that like a statement towards me or just in general?
No, you. Fuck no. You don't create for likes. You got the most heart out of anyone I know who's in the game. I wanted to talk about that, like the fact that you just don't gatekeep information ever. Gel is like number one for, people always hitting him up being like, what camera gear do you use? Do you have any tips? And he's always just like, let's go, here you go. But a lot of people in this game are just like, I'm not going to tell you what dad cam I'm shooting with because you'll get a dad cam and it's just like, that blows me away because you can't just shoot and do it exactly the same as someone. There's just no way. And everyone's got their own mind.
The gatekeeping thing is such an interesting one because...
Is that insecurity?
To some degree it is.
Yeah.
I think gatekeeping is an interesting... Some people can't be fucked. When I was coming up and I was asking them questions about things, one guy, I really looked up to him, and it was the second year that I was in it, and I was watching some of his videos quite religiously, and I asked him a question about color grading, and he linked me to a forum about color grading. Not even a hello, not even hi, and that. Just linked me to think about it. And I was just like, man, it was just the biggest slap in the face. Like, if I hadn't gone through and done my due diligence and really done a lot of research, that's the thing. You have to do the research and look up the things. But there are certain times when you can really, really help someone just by being, this is how I did it. With time, you start to understand the people who are really good, they don't withhold that information because they know that no one's going to be able to copy it the way that they do.
100, yeah.
I could give everything away that I do. Here's the camera that I shot it on, this is the lens that I shot it on, this is where I shot it on, and these are the props that I use, and this is the talent that I use. They're not going to be able to do it the same way that I did it. It's not to say that I did it the right way, it's that I did it my way. So with that, you start to understand that, man, I could save this person so much time, pain, and energy that I had to go through to figure it out. And I could chop some time off for them and save them some time.
Joe fucking took the long route, eh? I feel like you just didn't miss any steps. Didn't miss any steps.
Yeah.
You've done it properly. Like me, I'm just like, fuck it up. Like, I'll take 18 podcasts to do the sound properly. The sound's probably going to be real clean because Joel did it today.
This is what I will say on that. If you're scared that by giving someone one piece of technical information or a helping hand, that they're going to somehow take over, or that you're going to lose your edge, you're going to lose it for sure.
Yeah.
It's done.
Yeah.
You know, some of my favorite people ever, I'm going to say shout out to Michael Jennings, who has always just been completely open to help with anything. Tristan, Tyson Lloyd, even Kate Arizmendi, who's like top dog, full blown. I hope in 10 years time that I'm on her level. I sent her a quick message regarding something, and she said, "Thanks a lot. This is an honor." And I'm like, man, I send people a message these days and say like, "Wow, that's a really cool shot," and then they look at me, leave it on fucking scene like they're too cool to respond or something. I don't expect a response from every single person, but we're living in this weird thing now where people are too fucking cool to say thank you or whatever.
Big questions. Everyone wants to know. Do you make money? Is there money in this game?
Yeah.
There is.
Yeah, there's money. Of course there's money. Yeah. Of course there's money. And there's money at every single level. There's enough to make in the beginning what someone in a cafe makes very quickly. There's enough. You're going to be on par with some of the higher earners in Oz within a couple of years quite quickly. And then there's some people who are making huge bank, but I mean, you quite quickly, I watch these kinds of videos, and I watch these videos where, you know, they go, "How much do I make?" and stuff, and then they avoid saying what they say and stuff. And I'm like, fuck. But just to give people an idea, within a few years, you will get to 6 figures quite easily.
Wait.
You already hit it.
Yes. I just spent it all.
No, but like you'll make money. Now after that, where you choose to put that, and if you choose to reinvest it into your business, videography, photography, at whatever level, much of the time is going to require reinvesting back in, and there's a lot of overheads.
Yeah.
But as a general rule of thumb, you will earn very good money, and you can make choices if you want to earn more, if you want to go more corporate, commercial, or more creative, if you want to combine the two, or if you just want to support yourself enough to be able to do really cool creative things. There's so many different choices and so many different ways that people can operate, and I mean, you've paved your way, I've paved my way.
Yes.
Mine's a mix of a lot of commercial work, corporate work, and then cool, fun little creative things. But every few years you get to a new crossroads where you make a pick. Which way do you want to go? For me, I have one every 2 to 3 years of which direction that I wanted to take it in. And if I listen to fuckwits going, "Oh yeah, are you gonna have a real job?" Then, fuck, I probably would have a real job.
And you'd be sad, maybe.
I'd be sad as fuck, or I'd still be working at McDonald's.
Shout out.
Shout out McDonald's Shindra, where I learned the perseverance and discipline of doing something you don't want to do for a long time. But it afforded me my first camera.
I got to say, I really back your opinions and how calculated you are on important topics and on just topics in general. You just have a lot of cool things to say.
So you.
Oh, merci. Really?
Yeah, all the time. You're a very opinionated person. It's important to... You're a very opinionated person, but you're a super opinionated person. I think it's important to have an opinion. Especially in this kind of world that we're living in.
Do you see yourself sharing more opinions in the future on socials, opening up a little bit more? I feel like we want to see.
I think that I've been watching you express yourself even more, and I think that it takes a lot of courage to express oneself online. I think that most of us are really scared to do so. Parts of me are scared to do so. But I do like having an opinion on something, and I think that it's important to, if you're passionate about something, to share about it. I think that other cultures do that so well as well, or when they're good at something, they back themselves and they say the thing and they go, "Oh, I'm really good at this," or "I'm not good at this," or "This is what I think about this," or "This is something you could learn." And when they're sharing something, they're not sitting there. Some of the videographers that I follow that offer really good advice, they're not sitting there going, this is what you should do. And then they go, oh, not that I'm the kind of person that's going to be able to, I'm not at a level where I'm saying that I can give you this advice. They just say it. Whereas in Oz, there's a lot of tall poppy syndrome, and there's a lot of, oh, I don't want to share too much, I don't want to rub people the wrong way, or I don't want to seem like I'm full of myself.
Yeah, somebody did say that to me, scared of like doing a podcast like by yourself and not getting somebody on. Like I would think that I was tooting my own horn if I did that. And I was just like,
Oh yeah, that's interesting.
yeah, I mean, I thought about it, but the scarier thing was to do the podcast by myself. So
Yeah,
I did
so
it.
you went and did it.
Yeah.
I mean, isn't that cool?
Yeah.
Isn't that cool that, one person says, oh, doesn't that make you feel full of yourself? But it's actually the opposite. It's strange, right?
It is tricky. It's interesting, but I think it makes them feel.
It makes them feel strange, and that's the biggest thing is you can do everything perfectly, you can do everything right for the right reasons. You're gonna piss people off.
Yeah.
People are not gonna like it, or people are going to have their opinion of you made up, regardless. Yeah. Most of the time, even if you're doing something with the most honest intent.
Hungy, yeah, I see it.
You see it happen all the time,
I see it happen all the time, and I notice myself too. I very much notice myself, like, yeah, hugely. It's funny when it comes up too. I'm like, oh, okay.
There it is.
Yeah. And then I have to really reel myself back in. But I often spend time with it when I notice.
I think, that's really important, spending time with it.
'Cause I'm like, what is my insecurity then?
What does my insecurity have to do with this person saying, hey, here's a piece of worthwhile knowledge, or here's me expressing myself about something, or here's me throwing myself out there. I mean, this really should be applauded.
Yeah.
But the thing is, all the top artists, let's say you're talking Tyler, the Creator, say in the current demographic, you're talking people like Action Bronson.
Lil fucking Sims too, man.
Lil Sims, she's amazing. We'll go on rappers, Drake. All those different, Kendrick Lamar. Everybody.
And the B-ballers.
Sexy Red. She just dropped a sex tape by accident on her Instagram the other day.
I hate that for her.
But not that I hate that for her. It's heavy. But what's interesting is all these people, musicians, all the big creatives, they went out there and expressed themselves, and people love them for it. They didn't sit there and go, I don't think that I'm the best musician out there, but I think this is how you should. They just got it out there and went, look, if people are gonna read it the wrong way, they can read it the wrong way. It doesn't mean you have to run into every room and go, I'm top dog and this and that. But it takes a healthy amount of, I'm not going to think too deeply about how this looks to other people. And it's like anything, it's like a muscle that you flex over time. And I'm still, I'm on my first reps trying to figure it out, trying to get better at it. But all the people whose content I really love, they're just being themselves, and they're throwing it out there and they're getting it done. And people don't care that much. So I gotta tell myself. And you do that really well. You get it out there. You share your opinions, and I think you encourage people, and people should be encouraged, especially in this new generation, to interact with ideas in a healthy way that they might not completely agree with always. And not think that just because you say something that it's a big mass attack on them.
Yeah.
It's just the idea of being able to have a discussion around something, agreeing on it, not agreeing on it. Other cultures, I think, do that a lot well. Hey, I don't agree with that, but I respect you.
Yeah, that's hot shit too. Yeah, I wanted to touch a little bit on cancel culture as well, if you could explain.
Cancel culture, I mean, we're in this weird in-between stage at the moment with it. Cancel culture, the fact that everyone has a voice online is both a really good thing and both a really hard thing, because now everyone's voice can be amplified, it can go to the next level. So a lot of people get really offended by stuff, they get a movement behind them, and then someone gets taken down. And some people probably rightly so if they're doing the wrong thing. But what is right and wrong? And why should someone be disagreed with, or should they be, you interact with them and you go, okay, well, I don't necessarily like what they share, so I'm not going to interact with it anymore. But it's not even the conversation surrounding Trump and Andrew Tate and all that other shit. It's the effect, the biggest thing is the effect that it's having on or the biggest thing for us, say, in the creative world, is the effect that it's having on creativity as a whole. Because if you're putting stuff out there, you're having to think, wow, actually, is someone going to take it the wrong way? Or are they going to think that I haven't represented people well enough? Or is this idea going to be interpreted in such a way that it's going to offend someone? Do they have a right to be offended? Is there something there? And even if there's nothing there, you kind of end up in this state of analysis paralysis where you're so worried about it that you don't make anything. And that's happening more and more.
Yeah.
And when I think to like all my favorite comedies from back in the day, I think about Superbad, 40-Year-Old Virgin. I think about even, what's more, The Boat That Rocked. Even Love Actually, and things like that, shitty rom-coms. But all these comedies, things like Superbad is top tier, Borat, incredible, Ali G. They would not be made in this current world that we live in. And that's a form of art. It's a creative expression. People direct it, they put the jokes together, they get up, they act. It's a form of art. And I can't remember the last time I went to a cinema and watched a comedy movie, a good top tier solid comedy film. Now they're just trying to take things like Ocean's 11, which is full of blokes, except for Julia Roberts, who's an incredibly strong character in that. And they want to put it just with like 8 women. Sorry. They want to put it with 8 women.
Oceans.
And then, yeah, Ocean's 8 or something. And
straight up.
And they do that, but they don't put any time into the script or creating an interesting story surrounding these women. They just go, oh no, we're going to rebadge it, have girls in there.
Tick the box.
Women's empowerment without a good story. Why aren't these women getting really interesting stories to create the same level of story? Why aren't they being as well written? Just because you swap all the men out for women, that doesn't mean it's a successful story. So now we've got all this stuff that's like it's basically trying to tick a box rather than creatively express something. And I mean, comedy as a whole, there's always an element of truth to it. That's what makes it funny. And unfortunately in comedy, certain people are going to be offended by something.
For
Now,
sure.
I don't write comedy films, but I got to say that they might offend someone to highlight something, to highlight an important social issue that you're supporting. But you don't want to hear it because you don't want to get offended in the moment. Therefore, that doesn't get made. And then people now, their opinions are all the same. Everyone's just living in these echo chambers, and they don't want to interact with anything that they disagree with. And it makes this generation of people that are, well, making the same decisions about things, expressing themselves in the same way, and making a lot of the same work, a lot of the same art. And then you've got a few people that are jumping out of that and doing some sick stuff. And not all of it is political and stuff.
Yeah.
But some people are, it's cool. They're jumping in and they're doing it their way, and that's what makes them so interesting.
Yeah.
You know, and when I see that, I go, yes.
Yeah. Froth out on Theo Von. I just think he's so fucking funny, man. And I just
he's
wonder,
funny
like,
as.
how does that prick not get cancelled? I just,
Yeah.
if
Von's
I
funny.
could just fucking be him.
For sure. Theo Von and you and Theo Von actually have a lot of, like, you guys couldn't be more different, but you have a lot of the similarities in your style of humour. And I think that's something that you could tap into even more.
I just don't know how. I don't.
Those characters are polarizing.
Yeah.
A lot of people say that Theo Von is racist or he's this or that. He's not racist.
He just says
He
some
just
dicey
says
shit.
things that it's just dicey. Some of it's
Yeah.
dicey, but you know, he
Those are-
knows what he's doing. He knows what he's saying. He knows that he's going to polarize people, but he's exercising as long as he's not inciting hate and division. He's like, I'm going to make people laugh, and I'm probably going to piss some people off by doing this. But that's what, you know, people want to cancel Joe Rogan. They want to cancel Theo Von. They want to cancel Bill Burr. They want to cancel Will Smith. You know, like
Willie.
Big Willie. But the thing is, I might not agree with everything that Donald Trump says, right? But I still don't believe that he should be erased from the earth. People should be learning how to have critical thought. Now people are going to come and say, yeah, but they
You support Trump.
They're going to say, they're not going to say that. They're going to say, yeah, but because if he has a platform, he's going to incite violence and incite people to do things and stuff. And I mean, it's a fair argument to make. Actually, anyone can incite something, and the more we try to cancel people, the more people on the other side, whether it's the left or the right, and now we're getting into a whole other topic, the alt-right, the fucking radical left, whatever, the more these people are going to get stronger because they're just polarizing people more and more, because people aren't able to grab either the best from both sides and create like a more of a their own opinion. They're just going to be completely influenced one way or completely influenced the other way, and then everyone's like, oh yeah, like once we cancel this person, we can cancel the next person. Like, the world has never been more divided than it is now.
I mean, it was a little bit more divided back in the day, but...
Well, it was divided in certain ways, but yeah, it's probably a huge call. But look, I mean, we've never been more at each other's throats about shit.
Yeah, for sure.
And maybe that's a healthy thing.
There's just more keyboards, man.
There's more keyboards, yeah, for sure. There's no keyboards, but then again, women didn't have rights and didn't vote.
That's it.
You know, and I mean, we've got to speak to the beauty of some of these movements too.
For sure.
Some of these movements are incredible.
Yeah.
And some people, and they're Me Too and all, but then things start to go too far one way, and then it's like Will Smith, he bitch slapped Chris Rock, and it was heavy. I hated it. I didn't want to read his book for like a year after that.
I read his book before he slapped.
Yeah, I read it afterwards, and I read it, and I went, man, this guy's a human being. He made a huge mistake on a massive platform.
Yeah. And
his life is over. You know, in certain ways, unless he bounces back from it, and he bounced back from it. But
I feel like he'd already done all that he set out to do anyway. But that's anger issues, man.
Yeah, big anger issues.
When
you read about like why he is the way that he is, you kind of go, oh, that's interesting. But it's
I got empathy.
I got empathy for him too, or at least I don't believe that he should, be. But he wasn't correct, obviously.
No, he just got extremely defensive.
He got very defensive, it was way off. But Chris Rock's special in regards to it, his comedy special, fucking sucked.
It was a stupid fucking thing to say as well, let's be real.
It was dumb as fuck.
Anyway, that's funny as. I'd love to know what you think about why are small budget clients more annoying than big budget clients. I've been noticing this correlation. The ones that have bank, they're just like, go free, run wild. And the ones that have 50 cents, they're like, they expect you to just like style, build the set, do like 15 Zoom calls and deliver 18 reels. And then
it's hard because I mean it's already in the question that you said, when you've got more money you're less attached to it and you have more resources to be able to achieve more things.
It's energy, yeah.
And it's an energy, and you're not, I mean, every $100 for a small budget client is going to feel like a lot, but I mean, anyone knows in any production, $1,000, $2,000, $5,000, $10,000, like it goes like that, in 2 seconds. So I think that a lot of people, especially if we're talking small budget, usually they're starting out. And if they're still trying to rinse people tiny budgets after 10 years in business, it might be time to reestablish or reevaluate their business.
Yeah.
I was going to say that.
100, yeah.
But people, especially in the beginning, they're trying to do way too many things at once. And they have, God bless their souls, really good taste, but they don't have either the knowing, the knowledge, or the money to be able to pull that off. So it's about like obviously managing their expectations.
Yeah.
But they fundamentally don't focus well on one thing. That's the biggest mistake that the small brands make. And then because they don't do that, they want the product photography, they want the campaign shot, they want the model shots, they want the reels, they want you to do the styling, they want a gobi. No, but they want everything, and they don't realize how much time everything's going to take. And the fact that they could have just done one thing really well, launched their business, kept going, cut some corners where they need to, but build that. And then they think that they need to do it once and then it's done kind of thing. No, I mean, you and I, we reinvest back into our businesses constantly, and all the best businesses, it doesn't mean that they have to go and spend 50 grand every shoot. They reinvest back
Yeah, you have to.
into their story. The biggest mistake that the small brands make, and I've said this before, is they focus on their product, not on their story. The big brands focus on their story, and then they sell a product off that.
100.
Just like the really good influencers and the really interesting public figures focus on their story and giving a lot of value, and off the back of that, they sell a product.
That's it.
You and I, like, we sell a service, but we want to be more aligned with people who care about their story. And if they care about their story, they're going to realize that it's going to take time to create their story, and they're going to be a lot more upfront, and they're going to be a lot more receptive to things.
It's not really taught though, hey.
It's not taught. And I mean, maybe someone will see it and go, wow, yeah, actually I can put some time into my story.
Yeah.
They start a new brand. Doesn't mean they have to spend heaps of money. They just have to be clear on it. And I mean, you've done it really well with a lot of your clients. You've created stories for small brands and big brands. So you've understood both sides of the coin and how to do it. The problem is when a small brand with small money wants to do what the big brand did.
Generally the case. Eh?
Generally the case. And then it's like, well, why don't we work up to that? Why don't
Yeah.
we simplify it, and then we can work up to that?
Yeah. No,
But it's fuck me. The amount of times I go, I'll take this one on, it's really easy, And then you just end up just being like, man, I just did 5 days worth of work for a fifth of my usual rate.
yeah.
And I'm like, you kind of learn it with time.
It's a tricky one. I'm still getting caught up with that too, underquoting and things like that, where you take a job because you want to help somebody out or whatever, and then it ends up just being a fucking punish.
Yeah.
Or it's an interesting one, and you end up having to wear have to wear a lot of hats. Like I feel like I get hired for, just like handling the models, styling, finding the location. Then I have to, shoot the film, develop the film. It's just a lot. It's a lot of work.
Obviously, there's all the behind the scenes stuff that you have to do on top of the shoot.
Yeah, lots of emailing. I genuinely love the moving parts, but I think I need to.
You're really good at it.
I need to start charging more for the moving parts. Like,
well, I mean, it goes to that idea of as time goes along. I mean, you're charging, as opposed to charging for your time, you're charging for the value that you bring.
That's it.
And I mean, that's the for beginners and stuff. In the beginning, charge for time, and then after a while, you start to charge based on the value that you bring.
Yeah, no, it's a big one for me right now.
Bring more and more as time goes on.
No, you're right.
So especially if you're wearing all these different hats, and then with that, you might be able to pay someone else to kind of handle some of those things, and that's probably what you will do at some point.
Yeah, eventually, hey.
Oh, you will definitely. You'll have a full team in place. The beauty of working with a team is something like I want to work with the team a lot more now. Having a team is just like.
Yeah. Do you think AI will take over what we do?
Nah, no way. AI, a lot of people are gonna lose their jobs to AI for sure, and that's a sad reality. I think if you're in the editing photos game, there's some areas of editing video, retouch. It's pretty scary at times, but no, it won't.
Because you can't
it's all feeling.
Yeah, that's exactly what my intuition told me.
It's all feeling. There's no right or wrong way, especially when it comes to video. I reckon. You might watch something and it's not hit the beat, but the video doesn't look right because it's there. I mean, AI might be able to formulate certain things, but there's no way it's going to be able to go, wow, this one person sees this thing in this way, I'm going to do it that way. I mean, they can. But the cool, exciting thing is how people are going to use it. Yeah. To create interesting stuff.
I feel like
save them time.
Just leverage the dog.
100%. I don't want to use a retouch. Like I don't really have a lot of instances where I need to use one. But let's say I wanted to remove something from the back of a photo. Yeah. Now you can just put it into Photoshop, and they've got like some sort of AI generative tool or something, and you can just chop it out and replace the background. It's done automatically. Yeah. As opposed to having to manually do it for yourself. Now, people aren't going to completely lose their jobs, but the ones that are going to do really well are the ones who are going to be able to implement AI and save themselves a lot of time. And why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
It's great tech.
Yeah.
You know, just don't microchip me.
No, 100. Yeah, I feel like I already kind of use my own little AI by sending my stuff away on Fiverr and stuff. So it's not really AI. It's not
AI, but you're using
It's
something to
using-
streamline your process.
Yeah.
And I mean, you have to be able to streamline your process. Most wedding photographers don't even edit their own photos.
Yeah.
They just send them off to someone who does it all, and they'll charge 10K, and then it's done.
Yeah.
But it allows them to allows them to make bulk coin, but it also allows them to be able to take on more weddings and whatever. Again, value, not time.
Time is money, dog. Ramdas said that.
Yeah, Ramdas is decent for that, eh?
Yeah, he's real good. For somebody who is wanting to actually just find their purpose, even if it wasn't in the photo creative industry, what are some tips you'd give to somebody who's just super unsure, coming out of school and just being like, what am I going to do? Thinking maybe I'll do a teaching degree, but let's be real, that's not what the heart was calling for.
Yeah, a lot of people doing teaching degrees for no reason.
Yeah.
A lot of people doing teaching degrees because they love it.
Not many, but...
Not all of them.
Actually, shout out to Chris Regan. He's
Weapon.
going to be a good teacher.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I think that we're in this funny world now where there's a lot more, I think, options to make money in different ways or to do what we're passionate about. And that's the really exciting thing. Most anything can be monetized nowadays, which is pretty cool when you think about it. But it requires some...
It's a particular mentality, that one.
It's a very particular mentality, and you have to get really clear on what it is that what it is that you really want. If you want money, the biggest mistake you can do is go and study a fucking degree at university, leave, and then try and get yourself a job like in that thing, unless you want to be a lawyer or a doctor or something along those lines. If you want to make money, don't go to university. Find ways to make money. Start a business, I don't know, get into real estate, do e-com, do something, have a service or coach or something. Do something that's going to help you to make money. But the biggest thing that I would say is, I probably could have gone straight to this. Rambling on, fucking. Coming straight out of school is just taste as many things as possible.
There it is.
Taste heaps, and try do heaps of things, because the cool thing is that each little thing is going to join a part of your whole experience. And using that small thing that you tried, it might not be something that you continue with, but it's going to inform your experience, and it's going to inform the service that you eventually provide, or the thing that you eventually sell, or the way that you organize yourself, the way that you go through things. So in the 20s, there was a really cool quote about it, and this guy was saying, in your 20s, try as many different things as possible. In your 30s, find out what you're good at. In your 40s, make money from what you're good at. And then in your 50s, you can start to relax a little bit. But if you do things in that order, it seems like a pretty beautiful way to do it. The only thing is, everyone in their 20s wants to be like millionaires and wants to have it all figured out. And it's damaging.
Yeah, it's tricky. I guess it just depends what you value the most as well.
What do you value? Find what you value.
Yeah. I mean, I value that freedom.
Yeah, that's what I
want to
ask,
get to that the 50-year-old thing now. I value just being able to just go at my own pace, go at my own flow. So.
Try as many things as possible in your 20s.
Yeah.
In your 30s, make money from what you're good at.
Yeah.
What you're good at can be what you're passionate about.
Yeah. No, for sure. I think it's just the chilling. I want to chill. The 50-year-old chill as well. I want to dip my toes into everything but still chill.
For sure. Chilling, we're paraphrasing it.
Yeah. No, I just don't want to be hustle culture. I don't want to promote hustle culture.
Fuck no. Hustle culture is not what we're talking about.
Nah,
but if you're asking me what someone should do once they leave, I mean, what they should do is taste as many, do things. And tasting things can be, definitely everyone should fucking grab a pack and go travel. You don't have to wear one of those big backpacks. You can just grab a rolly bag. But go and travel and go and do shit.
Go travel. Yeah.
Don't lock yourself down in your 20s in whatever way. People can interpret that in however they want.
Yeah.
But don't in your 20s just go, I'm going to do this and that's the way it is. Go and travel, go and do things, go and meet people, go and explore. You know, money is a part of life. Doing things that we don't want to do is a part of life. So you have to think about that to some degree.
Yeah.
And then in that area, try those things as well. And now, I mean, people are making money from the wildest, craziest shit.
Yeah.
You know, and that's not even OnlyFans and stuff. It's a father and son go camping and they film their vlogs of themselves going camping with time. Camping companies jump on and say, hey, we're going to pay you X amount to review this tent. We're going to pay you X amount to go to this location. We're going to pay you X amount to go and review this national park. I mean, isn't that crazy?
That's my fucking dream.
It's a dream.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's something that you're going to be able to try, start meshing into your life. The thing is, there's no right or wrong way to do it. And I can't wait to try heaps of new things as well. I feel like I'm at this space right now where I'm at my next crossroads, going deeper to the next level of really fully expressing myself, and now in a place where I can choose the projects that I want to do and I can start expressing myself a lot better. And
30, baby.
yeah, 30. 30 for better or for, yeah, it's just, it feels like a good, you know, feel at peace with it. Just being like, okay, now let's roll.
Let's
I've been
go.
saying that every year, but
No, you haven't though. And something's changed within you. Something big's changed. Joel just went to Europe and had a hot go Europe summer, and he came back.
that was just what was me today.
Yeah.
I thought 10 years ago when I was in my early 20s, not quite 10 years ago, like 8, I didn't know what I wanted to do, and I went to Europe, and then in Europe I had this camera and I decided, wow, I really want to film things and I want to create edits. And I got home, I quit my job at McDonald's and went full throttle pursuit. 10 years on from that point, I told myself, oh, I'm not going to learn that much. You know, I've already done Europe a bunch of times, I've traveled a lot. Part of me was like, oh, you know, I'll just go there and cruise. And then I learned so many different things about myself, and I come home and I have a completely different perspective on my work, on myself, on chilling, on travel, on what I want for my life. So yeah, just pretty much tell everyone to just leave and go travel. Should have just said that.
No, it's good. That was like my favourite part of the potty, dog.
Cool.
Yeah, no, it's fucking fabulous.
I mean, you're going to go traveling next year.
Right.
And I mean, you made this massive call this year where you were like, instead of traveling, I'm going to buckle down and fucking make some coin.
Yeah.
And then you've got some travel planned for next year. I mean, it's exciting.
Girl, be setting sail. So would you say that this is your purpose? You're living your purpose, darling?
I would say that I think my purpose is always going to shift and grow. But I'm on the right path of it. And I think it's going a lot deeper over the next while into, like from now on, it's a lot more aligned with what I want my purpose to be. But I want my purpose to also be creating the work that I want to create and creating the life that I want to create, but I want to help more people as well. I want to feel like that I gave them something as well, you know?
It's the spice of life.
Yeah. Maybe it could be in a professional realm, it could be the mentor or the person that I didn't have, or seeing some bits of content that would have really helped me at the time.
For sure, yeah. I was going to ask you, like, when are these bloody workshops coming? I feel like that would be,
that
you'd
would
be
really
such
cool.
a good facilitator.
Yeah, I think as I launch a few of we have something that we're working on together, and as I launch a few of the different projects, creative projects and work-related things that I want to launch, one major thing that's at the forefront is how to be able to help people to maybe save a lot of time, save a lot of money, and to amplify their reach in their business.
Yeah.
And workshops, I think, is a really good way to do that. But workshops my way, not some bland thing.
Nah.
Give people where they really feel like they learned a lot, and that they found a new way to do things, but their way.
Yeah.
That's what I want to do. I don't want it to be a technical thing.
Cool.
There's some technical elements to it, but get up in front of people and just basically be like, here it is. Do you want to be a part of this? And it's just about how like you communicate with people. And I think I communicate well with people. I like people. That's the thing. It doesn't even matter about how well. It's just I really like people and I like talking with people. So
you know your craft. It's like,
well, there are always going to be people who know more than you and who 100%. Are more fit to be able to, or more have more credits to their name, and who are better at something. But I'm not trying to be. I'm trying to be the best. I'm trying to be the best me, but I'm trying to be the best. Trying to do things the best way that I can.
100, yeah.
And I can't do that if I don't push myself and go to the next level and
yeah.
express myself more and do all those different things. And then people are either going to like it or they're not.
Yeah, I don't think they'll have a whole lot to say really.
I
don't think they give that much.
I think that a part of me wigs out about it, you know.
It's more, it's your own kind of inner thing. It's like
it's my own inner thing.
Yeah, I think to a big degree anyway. It's like, who am I to fucking start a podcast and talk about like science and shit? Like some of the times I'm just talking about things and I'm like, I read this in a book and I'm all on the regurgitate. I mean, I just don't give a fuck that. I'm just like, if I can open somebody up to something, then
that's it. If you can open one person up to something, if you can make them go, then that's really worth something. And a lot of people, you know, they message and they go, oh, I'd be so sick if you did this, or I really gain a lot from this, or I love what you said here, or I love this piece. And those few people can really gain a lot from that. They do it with you all the time. Yeah. And then they say that to me. But then a part of me wigs out and goes, oh no, I'm not ready, or I'm not at the same level yet of some of these other people. And fuck, man, like if I start doing that, I'm never going to start. Do you know what I mean? So I need to, it's so sick to see you doing your thing and creating these and expressing yourself and getting things out there, because it spurs me on to continue doing things the way that I want to do them, the things that I'm passionate about. And I mean, I thank myself every day that we have that we have each other in that respect, you know, because...
For sure. We'd be in our own way if we didn't have each other, I think.
Yeah, we'd definitely, like many people. But you see that all the time. All the people who are really good on camera, are really good at talking on camera, most of them, it doesn't come inherent, like naturally, doesn't come naturally to them.
It's a flex,
they flex, they work at it. They put the camera in front of them, they feel like an idiot, and then they go, all right, I feel like an idiot. And after a while, they start to just get really good at it. And then you watch them and then they've got, 500K or 1 million followers or something. And you're like, wow, this person has just come naturally. It just came naturally to them. No, it didn't come naturally. A lot of them just kind of flexed the muscle and worked at it.
Something that you have stumbled upon recently, discovered, a song, a podcast, something that's taught you something or moved you in a particular way?
There's a lot of things that move me.
Yeah, there is, hey.
I'm easily moved.
You are. It's my favourite thing about you, eh?
When I notice things, I get really moved. But something that struck me, I think it was just a guy talking about his journey, and his journey in many ways. We all have our own separate journeys, but a lot of the choices that we make, or the insecurities that we have, are the same for many of us. And he was talking about how he wasn't having maybe a lot of success, and he was really grinding at it, pushing at it. And then one day he posted a reel that went viral off its head. And then people started to seek him out for a lot of work. And then he just said, man, just post the fucking reel.
Yeah.
And I went, yeah, you're right, just post the fucking reel.
Yeah.
Don't get too obsessed with it, just post it.
True that, dog.
Yeah.
I like that. Makes me want to be more real.
Be more real, be real.